Welcome back to Underrated Moments. I'm Lim, the writer, and today's host. Before we get going, I wanted to remind you we're holding a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and then answer a simple question and leave it in the comments below. Today's question is, do you know who designed Darth Vader's castle? Don't worry, I'll leave the answer somewhere in this video. The moment you see it, write it down in the comments, and you'll automatically be entered to win. Alright, let's get to today's story. If you think of Force Lightning, what comes to mind? If you're like most, you might imagine images of Emperor Palpatine in his duels against Master Mace Windu, or later, against Grandmaster Yoda. In both fights, the Dark Lord of the Sith used powerful bursts of blue lightning to attack his opponents. And it's that specific type of lightning, the blue-purple variation, that most know about. But Sith lightning comes in more than just that hue. The Night Sisters of Dathomir projected muddy green bolts, and dark-side Celestials could even use powerful red versions. In Legends, even the Jedi were capable of using a type of lightning. Luke Skywalker's Electric Judgment, which was a deadly green variation, is perhaps the most famous. But his apprentice, Jaina Solo, actually mastered a different kind. She was able to project terrifying arcs of black lightning in battle. Join us as we discover more about Jaina's unique skills and what made it so horrifying in today's underrated moment. In Legends, Jaina Solo was one half of the famous Solo twins, and like her brother Jacen, Jaina trained most of her life under her uncle, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Both Jaina and Jacen would eventually become two of the most powerful Jedi in the entire galaxy. But after facing off against the Yuuzhan Vong, something happened to Jacen. After years spent tortured by the enemy, Jacen's mind began to slip, and later, the mistress of the Sith, known as Lumia, a former apprentice of Darth Vader, finally turned Jacen to the Sith once and for all. After his descent, Jacen would throw the entire galaxy into chaos. But he wasn't the only Solo child who was tempted by the dark side. His sister, Jaina, also felt the pull. During the war against the Yuuzhan Vong, when their younger brother Anakin died in battle, Jaina was overwhelmed with grief. As she looked at his corpse, lying lifeless on the floor, her heart swelled with rage, and she raised a hand towards a nearby enemy soldier. From the tips of her fingers, a fork of lightning erupted and struck the nearby Yuuzhan Vong warrior squarely in his chest. Unlike other types of Force lightning, which seemed to electrocute their victims to death, Jaina's powerful blast exploded directly through the chest of the soldier. Sometime later, while navigating through the galaxy, Jaina explored her ability to project Force lightning. Although the nature of her variant, black lightning, didn't seem to trouble her too much, it's odd to think about. Several times later, when in combat, Jaina would use black lightning to fight off enemies, but it never seemed to be as powerful as when she first used it to carve a chunk out of that Yuuzhan Vong soldier's chest. In fact, when she encountered other dark side practitioners, they seemed to be able to neutralize Jaina's Force lightning with relative ease. If they ever tried to use the same technique against Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, they would have found his version of Electric Judgment far too powerful, and they would have likely died in the attempt. Even against weaker forms of Force lightning, like the blue arcs that Emperor Palpatine cast from his fingertips, or the green version that Mother Talzin once used to dominate Count Dooku in combat, a similar diffusion technique probably would not have worked. Considering just how difficult it was to master both Sith lightning and Electric Judgment, Jaina surely must have reached a new plateau of Force expertise when she first discovered the black lightning of her own. And while its dark color might not have reflected its power, it certainly seemed to indicate a connection to the dark side. Jaina's lightning manifested in the moments after her youngest brother, Anakin, was killed in combat. Her twin, Jacen Solo, would later become a Dark Lord of the Sith when faced with a similar potential tragedy. And perhaps Jaina herself was tempted as well. Although it's just a theory, it would make sense if her own blue or emerald version of Force Lightning was stained black, because it first erupted in a moment of dark side fueled rage. Ultimately, I guess we'll never know why Jainas Lightning was so much different than anyone else's. And when we compare it to the other forms of lightning, it's strange to say it might have actually been weaker. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Underrated Moments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with the answer of today's question in order to be entered in a chance to win our awesome Saber Forge lightsaber. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.